This page is the February 1990 cover of Beep Mega Drive, showcasing a vibrant and whimsical art style fitting for the era. The big news featured prominently is the results of the Mega Drive Academy Awards, where readers cast their votes to determine the top games, with the grand prize winners announced inside. There's also a mention of a New Year's special appendix, a unique Beep Mega Drive calendar, highlighting specific games. The magazine points to Mega Dog Race as a recommended purchase, calling it a great value single match. Other titles teased on the cover include the mech action title Target Earth, Jusu Kihei Lenos, the strategy game Super Daikaisen Ryaku, and the second part of Telephone Stadium, a special feature titled Passionate Mega Drive Declaration for the year Heisei 2, 1990. Includes encouraging words for Sega, Taito, and Hot B, suggesting a look ahead at the year's releases and industry landscape. The cover art itself features a central, large, clown-like character amidst colorful, abstract mountains and clouds, with smaller figures skiing and interacting with musical notes. This page features two major role-playing game titles for the Mega Drive. The upper half showcases Sorcerian, highlighting its beautiful backgrounds, character interaction, and powerful game sound, enhanced by the Mega Drive's capabilities as a fantastic action RPG. It promises a long story of discovery in an unseen world, noting it has a backup function and a standard retail price of 7,000 yen. The tagline suggests its charm is inescapable once you step in. Below the main titles, prominent red text declares, "Excitement is with the times," followed by Sega releases a huge epic, likely referring to the significant RPGs featured. The lower section focuses on the Phantasy Star series, specifically featuring screenshots from Phantasy Star II. Text indicates strong anticipation for Phantasy Star II, stating it is expected from now and will be appearing in April. This page features Sega's strong push into the RPG genre. The upper section highlights Vermilion, an action RPG centered around 16 rings, presenting another myth born on the system. Screenshots showcase its varied perspectives, from top-down towns to side-view action and first-person dungeons. The text emphasizes the collaborative effort with the SST band for sound and praises the game's unexpected story turns, engaging action, and 3D visuals, calling it a groundbreaking RPG epic that was released on February 24th. The middle section declares Sega's growing confidence in RPGs with a powerful tagline. Following this, the lower part of the page looks ahead to Phantasy Star II, Generations of Doom. It confirms development is progressing smoothly, building excitement for the series' continuation. It specifically mentions the thrill of the 3D dungeons found in previous titles and highlights the 16-bit power of the Mega Drive fueling this new installment. The text assures fans that the story follows the previous two games, promising a significant new adventure. The Mega Drive console itself is also shown. This page introduces the Mega Drive debut of Xioblade, the acclaimed PAC adventure game. Presented as a moving adventure, the text suggests it transcends the adventure genre, offering a dramatic experience with moving visuals, beautiful sound, and a dynamic, movie-like scale and speed. The Mega Drive port leverages the system's full 16-bit power to deliver a dynamic adventure previously impossible. Key features highlighted include lively animated visuals, realistic and wide character designs, diverse graphics with a sense of depth, powerful sound utilizing a rich range, and the introduction of an eye-point cursor for command selection along with a multi-window system. Developed by T&E Soft and published by Sigma Enterprises, this version is copyrighted 1990. The lower section briefly mentions Vegas Connection from Sigma Enterprises, with a price and copyright date, likely referencing a separate product line or contact point. This page highlights two upcoming Mega Drive titles, offering distinct gameplay experiences. The top half presents the classic puzzle game, Sokoban, making its Mega Drive debut. This version promises a significant upgrade in graphics and sound, featuring an unprecedented 250 stages, the largest in the series' history. Key features include a stage edit mode, a trace function to review steps, and a password system. It was set to release on January 30th. The bottom section focuses on the intense, action shooting game, Assault Suit Lenos, released internationally as Target Earth. This title puts you in an assault suit, in a serious, real-time sci-fi story set on Ganymede. The game features expansive, multi-directional scrolling levels, impressive graphics, and exciting music. It includes 8 diverse scenarios, from atmospheric entry to convoy defense, and offers numerous weapon options for power-ups. Developed by NCS, This mech combat title was scheduled for release on March 16. This page previews the horizontal scrolling shooter, Shooting Q, developed by Micronet. The page showcases the game's distinct visual style and varied environments across different stages. Screenshots depict gameplay in a lush forest for Stage 1, a chaotic underground or sky area, Stage 2, and a space battle featuring a large mech for Stage 4. The presentation is highlighted by striking artwork, including a profile view of a face and the game's fiery title logo. Micronet is positioning the game as an exciting new shooting experience. This page introduces the Sega Mega Drive shooting game, Curse, which is available for purchase. The game challenges players to protect the planet Seneca through intense stage-based battles, emphasizing strategic use of various power items. The page highlights the game's beautiful graphics, sound, and speed, claiming they create a unique world unlike previous television games and draw the player in. Artwork features a biological brain structure integrated with technology and the prominent Rise logo, alongside the Japanese title Curse. The game is for one player, uses a 4 megabit cartridge, and is priced at 6,800 yen. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Mega Drive title, Atomic RoboKid. It promotes the game as an enhanced version of a popular video game, focusing on exhilarating maze and shooting action with diverse graphics and unique characters. The narrative sets the stage after a final war where humanity is nearing extinction, and the protagonist, Atomic RoboKid, is sent by a mother computer into a vast underground labyrinth to rescue a character named Eve. The page features dynamic artwork of the robot protagonist and a large, menacing enemy structure, alongside screenshots showcasing the maze-like levels and enemies players will encounter. Published by Treco, the game is advertised as coming soon and promises intense action gameplay. This page features announcements for 2 different SoftBank MOOC publications. The top section promotes Game Boy Life, the first volume in the series, which is a specialized magazine dedicated entirely to the Game Boy. This issue provides a comprehensive guide to all 51 Game Boy titles released up to December 1989. It includes various features like a hot-blooded Game Boy declaration, a GB shopping derby evaluating game value, a hyper-intelligent lecture on the system, a large survey of 38 third-party companies regarding their stance on the Game Boy, and a special interview with Nintendo revealing the secret story behind the handheld's development. The accompanying illustration depicts cheerful characters, alongside elements from early Game Boy games, celebrating the system's release. The bottom section announces the second volume, RPG Magazine, scheduled for release in late February. This is presented as Japan's first game magazine, focused specifically on a software genre, the computer RPG. It promises a guide to the latest RPG releases across multiple platforms, including the Mega Drive, Famicom, NES, PC Engine, TurboGrafx-16, and various PC platforms. Beyond game reviews, it features substantial articles covering the history of RPGs, a fantasy dictionary, and side stories, making it a highly anticipated publication for RPG fans. This page presents the table of contents for the February 1990 issue of BeepMD magazine. It highlights new game coverage starting on page 13, featuring reviews for titles like Afterburner 2, The New Zealand Story, Atomic RoboKid, and several others, including Return of the Fairy King, Heavy Unit, Kageki, and Xioblade. Page 18 delves into a hot menu, showcasing Air Diver, Super Real Basketball, and Zoom. A major section, spread across pages 27, 34, 80, 92, and 100, offers in-depth strategy guides for key releases such as Vermilion, Telephone Stadium, Sorcerian, The Revenge of Shinobi, and Target Earth. The issue also features a special section on page 73, announcing the results of a reader poll, the Mega Drive Academy Awards, revealing the games chosen by over 1,000 readers. Finally, page 41 contains a feature titled Hot-Blooded Mega Drive Declaration 1990, touching upon Sega's direction and noting the arrival of Taito titles on the platform. The visuals include images of staff members and a pixel art screenshot, possibly from one of the reviewed RPGs. This page serves as the table of contents or featured article list, offering a glimpse into the February 1990 issue. At the top, you see screenshots showcasing a mysterious title labeled Septimius 2, alongside a scenic ship view, and a clear shot of Super Real Basketball with the Detroit Pistons facing off against the Denver Nuggets. The main features highlighted include a large spread dedicated to recommended Sega Mega Drive software purchases for the year-end and New Year period, titled Bargain Showdown. BeepMD Race And now is the time to say, buy this! Starting on pages 66 and 69 respectively. Page 64 introduces a new series called Nostalgic Game Graffiti, looking back at classic games. There's also a feature on page 79 titled Joy Joy Telephone, inviting readers to find Yuka-chan. The page also lists various columns and regular features covering news, industry insights, RPGs, sound, reader contributions, and other diverse topics throughout the magazine. This page dives into the exciting dawn of the second generation of network gaming, heralding the future of game machine networks. It spotlights the launch of Fujitsu Habitat, a groundbreaking graphical online world running on the FM Towns via NiftyServe. Unlike previous text-based systems, Habitat allows users to interact in real time through customizable avatars in a visually rich environment featuring streets, forests, and other locations. Players can chat, exchange items using in-world currency called tokens, and explore a vast world comprising 250 different regions. Movement and actions are handled intuitively via icons. This article clearly views Habitat as a major leap forward, expanding the possibilities of games into shared, persistent online spaces. The screenshots effectively showcase the pixelated avatars and the interactive interface of this pioneering online community. This page continues the discussion on Fujitsu Habitat, emphasizing the scale of its online world and the need for teleporters due to the vast distances, comparing this aspect to RPGs. The reviewer highlights Habitat's unique selling point, a constantly changing world where residents increase and maps can shift. It touches on the affordability of the system, suggesting it's not exclusively for the wealthy, and notes the potential for similar network systems on platforms like the Mega Drive, especially with modems becoming available, and Sega's proactive approach. The article then segues into hardware, announcing two new, more powerful FM Towns models, the 2F and 2H, which significantly upgrade memory and CD access speed, providing strong support for services like Fujitsu Habitat. The bottom section shifts focus entirely, announcing the grand opening of Sangyario Puroland, a new amusement park in Tama New Town, set for spring. The park is presented as a technologically advanced facility focused on fostering communication, built around a massive central structure resembling a world tree. It features character parades, various shows, a river ride with special effects, and immersive attractions like a full sensory experience zone. The park utilizes sophisticated audio animatronics and mechatronics, referencing techniques seen in American theme parks. Its opening is seen as a catalyst for further development in the Tama New Town area. Screenshots depict concept art or scenes from the park, including fantasy environments and a large indoor space. This page shifts focus to the Sega Master System, discussing the potential for new software releases in Japan. The highlight is a detailed look at Wonder Boy 2-1, The Dragon's Trap, a game the reviewer finds so well made they question why it wasn't released in Japan. It's presented as the third game in the series, a direct sequel to Wonder Boy and Wonder Boy in Monsterland. The game starts right after defeating the mechanical dragon from the previous title, but the hero is cursed and transformed. The core mechanic involves the protagonist transforming into various animal forms after being defeated by a boss, each with unique abilities needed to progress through the game's diverse environments, which range from mazes and pyramids to pirate ships and Japanese castles. Examples shown include the fire-breathing lizardman, the water-adapted piranhaman, the agile mouseman, and the sword-wielding lionman, before eventually regaining the human form. Earning money by defeating enemies is crucial for buying items and equipment. The reviewer is particularly impressed with the transformation system, calling forms like the mouse and condor, though the condor isn't pictured, fantastic. Overall, the game is highly recommended, with the reviewer hoping for a Japanese release. This page kicks off the new release scramble feature, highlighting upcoming titles for the Sega Mega Drive. The main focus is on Sorcerian, known as in Japan. This adventure game from Sega is noted for its detailed recreation of a weighty medieval world, though its release has been slightly delayed. The article discusses the game's setting in the Semergant Kingdom, and the journey of the protagonist, Azrael, and his party to restore the kingdom and retrieve a specific object. Screenshots show various aspects of the game, including a world map, town interiors with shops and inns, interactions with townsfolk, and travel scenes. The reviewer emphasizes the developer's intention to make the world feel as real as possible, mentioning elements like gathering information in towns, and the potential involvement of the emotional point (EP) system. Other games briefly mentioned include Kageki, Afterburner 2, Sokoban, titled Heavy Unit, and the New Zealand story. Overall, the page provides a promising look at Sorcerian and other exciting games on the horizon for the system. This page continues the new release Scramble section, focusing on 2 anticipated arcade ports for the Mega Drive. First up is Afterburner 2 from Denpa Shimbuncha. This arcade hit, often compared to Top Gun, is a thrilling 3D shooting game. Denpa Shimbuncha, known for their quality ports on the X68000, is handling this release. The article expresses excitement about how well they can recreate the arcade experience on the Mega Drive, noting that rotation and scaling effects, along with 3-channel sound syntheses, are promised. Screenshots showcase intense aerial combat and missile evasion, suggesting the fast-paced action will be well represented. Next we have Heavy Unit, a side-scrolling SHMUP from Toho. This game features a transforming mecha fighting against a mysterious biomechanical army. Known for its detailed graphics and challenging difficulty in the arcade, the article states it's expected to be a perfect port to the Mega Drive. A brief story summary is provided, setting the scene of humanity's last hope resting on the Heavy Unit. Screenshots display the game's visuals, including the transforming mecha in action and a large skeletal boss named Flatbone, promising a hardcore shooting experience that rivals titles on other systems like the PC Engine. Both games seem to be highly anticipated additions to the Mega Drive library. This page continues the new release Scramble section, highlighting 2 upcoming Mega Drive games ported from other platforms. First up is Fighting Masters, known as Kageki in the arcade. Scheduled for an April release, this fighting game from Hot B/Kaneko features a serious revenge story contrasting with its uniquely comical 2 headstall characters. The Mega Drive version promises to enhance the experience with new enemy types, additional stages, updated player moves, and new items, alongside sampled voices and dynamic visuals. Screenshots show the distinct combat style and the game's title screen. Also featured is Shiju Sedai no Sukoban, a classic Sokoban-style puzzle game published by Masaya/NCS and released in January. This version offers a staggering 250 stages with a wide range of difficulty. It includes helpful features like an undo function, stage select, a trace mode to review your steps, and even a stage edit mode, allowing players to create their own puzzles. Progress is saved via passwords awarded after clearing specific verification stages. Screenshots display the puzzle grids and some character interactions that seem to add a narrative layer. The article praises its depth and wealth of content, suggesting it could spark a new puzzle game boom. This page continues the new release Scramble, covering 2 more upcoming Mega Drive titles. Featured first is New Zealand Story from Taito, an action game planned for a February release. This is a port of the charming 1987 arcade classic, starring Tiki the Kiwi Bird rescuing his friends from a seal. While the Mega Drive version reportedly has some map differences from the original, the graphics maintain a similar high quality. The gameplay blends action with light puzzle elements, where navigating levels, avoiding enemies, and finding the exit is key. Collecting items upgrades Tiki's weapon, essential for tackling the bosses, which are described as strong yet comically designed. Screenshots show Tiki exploring colorful forest and desert environments. Next up is Atomic Robo Kid, a shoot-'em-up from Treco also slated for February. This segment provides an update, focusing on the game's boss characters. The article highlights the bosses as a major draw, noting their impressive size and detailed construction, appearing to be made of multiple destructible parts. While slightly delayed, the game is nearing completion, and the stunning visuals of the boss encounters shown in the screenshots definitely make it look worth the wait. This page introduces Syoblade, an SF space adventure game coming from Sigma Enterprises, planned for release in April. The price is still undecided. The game's premise involves a conspiracy surrounding a malfunctioning investigation probe, Septimius 2, heading towards Barnard's star, with military, scientists, and politicians entangled in the plot. The article features the key characters central to the story, providing portraits and brief backgrounds for figures like the protagonist Keith McDonnell and the heroine Sophia Neumann. The magazine emphasizes the game's impressive full animation, describing it as seamless and a significant step up from more static adventure titles, with powerful event scenes. The controls are highlighted as user-friendly, utilizing a point-and-click system and a multi-window interface. The audio is also noted for its modern BGM arrangements and strong sound effects supporting the extensive dialogue. Accompanying screenshots give a glimpse into the game's visuals and various dramatic scenes, setting the stage for a grand SF adventure. This page features Air Diver, Asmic's realistic 3D dogfighting simulator for the Sega Mega Drive, slated for a March release. Piloting the latest F-119 stealth fighter, your mission is to protect the world from terrorism. The game aims for high realism, with detailed aircraft models, including specs like wingspan and thrust, and an accurate, immersive cockpit view featuring instruments like radar and missile displays. The reviewer points out how the game's dynamic data and realistic launch sequence contribute to making the player feel like a true pilot. Options for difficulty and sound are available, and world map navigation is shown. It's recommended for fans of speed and simulation, offering an experience with significant presence directly from your Mega Drive. This page dives deeper into the action of Air Diver. After launching from the carrier, you're immediately thrust into dogfights against enemy fighters, including realistic models from various nations. You'll first face off against groups of standard enemy craft, before engaging in intense one-on-one battles with tough boss-class fighters, each featuring sophisticated AI and unique, often mecha-like designs that vary by country. Defeating these formidable bosses is essential to clear the stage and continue your mission to eradicate terrorism. Despite the simulation feel, the controls are remarkably simple, using only the controller pad. Basic movement, like ascent, descent, and turning, is intuitive. More advanced maneuvers, like the tactical combat roll and the evasive loop-de-loop, are easily executed with simple button combinations, perfect for escaping missile locks or getting behind an enemy. You're equipped with a Vulcan cannon that fires continuously by holding the button, and limited guided missiles that track enemies targeted in your HUD, though they don't lock onto the giant airborne carrier bosses. The SEC button provides an afterburner for rapid acceleration, useful for both offense and defense. The game offers accessible yet tactical combat, letting you focus on your flying skill. Screenshots showcase the detailed cockpit view, intense dogfights, boss encounters, and the visual feedback of taking damage or crashing. This page features Super Real Basketball, the third entry in the Mega Drive Sports collection. Released in late February for 6,000 yen, this title promises a super realistic basketball experience. The game's setting is the United States, specifically highlighting 8 major cities: Los Angeles, Dallas, New York, Boston, Denver, Seattle, Houston, and Detroit. These city teams compete fiercely, and the game asks which team you'll choose in the tournament mode. The game offers 4 modes: practice match, tournament, versus, and watch. The shooting scenes are highlighted as particularly impressive, showcasing the Mega Drive's capabilities with super real graphics. The game is presented as a highly anticipated release. The lower section of the page provides a detailed look at the rosters for each of the 8 teams: Seattle Rams, Dallas Wings, Detroit Jets, Boston Bug, likely Celtics or similar, Denver Rocks, Los Angeles Rainbows, likely Lakers or similar, Houston Legs, likely Rockets or similar, and New York Busters, likely Knicks or similar. Each team section displays the team logo, pixel art portraits of the players, a larger portrait of one key player, and a list of player names alongside their stats: speed, pass, shot, defense, points, shots made, /attempted, fouls. Note that player parameters and names are subject to change. This extensive team and player detail suggests a deep simulation aspect for the time. This page delves into the fundamentals of Super Real Basketball, serving as a basic lecture for players. It highlights the game's straightforward controls, emphasizing that anyone can pick it up and play. The core actions are simple: dribbling with the direction buttons, shooting by pressing the B button twice, once to jump, a second time to shoot, and passing by combining a direction with the A button. The key feature is the dunk shot, performing a jump shot inside the key and pressing the shoot button again when the gauge is blue results in a spectacular dunk. Beyond basic actions, the page touches upon player data and strategy. It explains that player individuality is driven by parameters like speed, SPD, shoot success, SHT, pass accuracy, PASS, and defense, DEF, influencing everything from dribbling speed to shot accuracy and ball cuts. This connects directly to the detailed player stats shown for teams on the previous page, exemplified here with data for Seattle and Boston players. During timeouts, accessed via the ESC button, players can strategically change their defensive formation, choosing between options like man-to-man and zone defense, and also adjust player positions on the court. This shows the game balances easy-to-learn controls with deeper strategic elements. This page continues the look at Super Real Basketball, featuring commentary and screenshots from hot-blooded photo guy Toritani. It highlights specific action shots, like a powerful dunk from directly in front, with Toritani praising the game's precise and detailed 16-bit graphics and the sense of dynamism they convey. Another screenshot captures a particularly physical moment, described by Toritani as basketball being physical combat, noting a strong right straight appearing to connect with an opponent's face. Furthermore, the page introduces the Watch mode, a feature allowing players to spectate tournament matches played between computer-controlled teams. And this mode is presented as a way to either admire the computer's impressive plays or simply as a casual way to pass the time, though a humorous caution is given against using it for gambling. This page continues the showcase of Super Real Basketball, framed as a 16-bit dynamics exhibition. Under the title, Winning Ball, the reviewer Toritani comments on a heated moment in a game, specifically anticipating a crucial long shot from the Denver Rocks, emphasizing the intense atmosphere. An extra edition section focuses on a detail of the ball in the net, bringing back memories of a peculiar character named Donald O, and a Western sorcerer figure, adding a touch of unique observation. In a broader review, the game is highly praised for its sense of speed, high-quality graphics, and simple controls, calling them the best. The detailed player parameters are noted as effectively influencing gameplay, a positive point compared to other games where such details might feel superficial. However, the reviewer notes that the game currently lacks extra features, and the overall flow can feel a bit basic, with limited pass types and fakes. Despite these minor criticisms, the potential for future updates leaves the reviewer eagerly anticipating improvements, ending with a hopeful, "Look forward to the future!" This page showcases the action puzzle game Zoom for the Sega Genesis, known as Mega Drive in Japan. Released on January 13th for 5,500 yen, it's highlighted as an act puzzle game ported from American PCs. The story involves the evil Puzzler Army invading Earth by spreading demon barriers. Players control Smart, a robot developed by Earth scientists, tasked with clearing these barriers by filling in all their lines. The game consists of 36 rounds, each with 6 stages, and features disruptive phantom characters. The visuals and music change per round, adding enjoyment. Reviewer Toritani, previously seen commenting on Super Real Basketball, offers his take. He finds the simple objective reminiscent of the classic game Amadar, and notes a nostalgic charm for the genre. He points out that Zoom leans heavily on action, making it challenging for those less skilled in that area, as playing slowly leads to defeat. Controls are deemed not great. However, he asserts that the game is genuinely fun and addictive, recommending players try it. The sound quality is also praised as above standard. The page also details multiplayer options, including a 2-player cooperative competition mode. In this mode, players control orange and purple-blue smarts, and the number of enemies doubles. A mistake by either player pauses the game, but allows continuation from the point of error. This page delves into the mechanics of the action puzzle game Zoom, continuing from the previous introduction. It details the core operations and beneficial items encountered in the game. The controls cover movement for paint, allowing Smart to move in 4 directions and paint the path, though direction changes are limited. The A button enables jump, letting Smart leap, covering about 3 cells when combined with a direction. The B button triggers shot, firing projectiles to repel enemies, but shots are limited. The page also humorously depicts miss and a character flying away. It further explains the demon barrier destruction method, highlighting that points vary based on how cells are painted, and scoring more points for painting 2 or more cells consecutively. The process involves Smart painting cells by moving over them. Surrounding a cell changes its color, and painting all lines of the barrier clears the stage. Finally, the page showcases various helpful items that appear on the grid. These items disappear over time, so players should grab them quickly. Items include bananas, slow down enemies; sandwiches, temporarily stop enemy movement; the sun grants temporary invincibility; mushrooms restore Smart speed after being slowed; wings instantly clear the stage described as a super item; red candy gives 50 bonus points; blue candy gives 100 bonus points; and stars transform into one of the other 7 items upon collection. These items are crucial for navigating the challenging stages. This page continues the deep dive into Zoom, specifically focusing on the game's diverse enemies and challenging stages. It introduces the 5 types of monster phantoms you'll face: the tracking rowdy fingers, the line painting spiler, the slow cross-moving Q, the warping spine, and the poisoning charm, space jellyfish. Each has unique movement patterns and effects, requiring different tactics to avoid or repel. The page then showcases a selection of the game's 36 demon barriers, stages, providing glimpses of different layouts like the hourglass, mouth, islands, and U-turn types. It highlights how stages become narrower and enemies more numerous as you progress, changing the challenge significantly from early practice levels to later.
Complex designs with varied enemy combinations that require careful navigation.
Finally, the page details the scoring system further, explaining the aesthetic of surrounding, or taking cells. Surrounding cells earns points, with consecutive captures multiplying your score significantly. A major bonus is awarded for taking 2 cells simultaneously, which also multiplies with consecutive clears. Crucially, for every 10 consecutive cells captured, you earn an extra life, 1-up, making skillful cell taking essential for survival and high scores. The page also reveals a secret technique. Hidden cells exist in some stages that aren't visible, but jumping into suspicious empty spots can reveal these secret cells, awarding a substantial point bonus. This page features a new release complete master guide, starting with Part 1, for the game Vermilion. It highlights the game's release status from Sega at a price of 8,500 yen. A small introductory section addresses Mega Drive users and mentions aiming for the magazine to become monthly. The main focus is a detailed prologue for the game's story. It recounts an ancient time when powerful rings existed, controlled by beings later called gods. Fearing their own power, they sealed it into 8 rings, representing various elements and concepts. Millennia later, humans rediscovered the rings, and their greed unleashed a catastrophe that devastated the world. After the turmoil, civilization returned, giving rise to several nations. The story then focuses on the conflict between the Feudal Kingdom and the overwhelming army of King Ernest of the Nation of Ernest, whose invasion has begun. Screenshots illustrate key moments from the story, showing King Ernest leading his forces and the Feudal Kingdom's defeat. The narrative sets up a world transformed by disaster and ruled by conflict, driven by the legacy of the ancient rings. Vermilion's prologue introduces the protagonist, raised by his mentor after his kingdom's fall. Now a young man, a new adventure unfolds. The game features a detailed plot, similar to the YS series, structured in 16 seamless chapters, with numerous objectives. Combat involves sword-based battles reminiscent of Alien Syndrome. Players face enemy patterns and must time attacks effectively to develop techniques. The game includes a battery backup save feature, ensuring data recovery akin to Phantasy Star IV. This thoughtful design prevents save data loss. This page features a world map for the action RPG Vermilion. The large, detailed map shows various towns and dungeons across the game's world. The text explains that while the map itself is complex, obtaining it within the game is designed to be relatively easy, often found near dungeon entrances or given by villagers, which is intended to prevent players from getting lost. However, the article intentionally only shows an approximate layout of towns and dungeons, noting that revealing the full map would diminish the sense of discovery and challenge, emphasizing that exploration is key to the game's enjoyment. There's a recap section detailing the start of the adventure. The hero's father dies, giving him a ring, and the mission to defeat Ernest and save the world. The hero begins his quest after finding the Ring of Knowledge in a cave near his village. 2 screenshots are included. One shows an indoor scene with dialogue options, and the other depicts the game's world map view near the starting village, identified as Stats Village, highlighting the initial point of the hero's challenging journey. The page reinforces that while navigation is aided, the player must still bravely push forward and trust their instincts. This page continues the story recap for the Sega Mega Drive action RPG Vermilion. It details the hero's journey through numerous locations after obtaining the initial ring. The narrative describes the hero's arrival in Elias, where helping the king involves recovering treasure and dealing with a monstrous transformation, leading to the acquisition of the Ring of the Sky. The quest continues through Balkrish to find a doctor, Grolin where villagers are afflicted by monsters, and Clera where an imposter causes chaos and the hero's reputation is challenged. The hero also visits Cult to find a missing king and obtain the Ring of Wind, and Zhiden,
where political conflict centers on the Ring of Water and requires retrieving a crown from a cave. Further adventures include rescuing men from forced labor in Rajel, dealing with a thieving monster in Olgasis, and seeking treasure based on rumors in Laflas. The screenshots sprinkled throughout the page illustrate various scenes from towns, dungeons, and dialogue encounters, providing glimpses of the game's top-down exploration and story progression. This recap covers chapters 1 through 10 of the game's story, and sets the stage for events in chapter 11 and beyond. The next page continues the walkthrough for the action RPG, Vermilion. It picks up the hero's journey starting with Chapter 11 in the town of McCormick, where the focus is on obtaining the Ring of the Earth from a seemingly stingy king. Chapter 12 takes the hero to Fordul, revealed as the protagonist's ruined hometown, destroyed years ago by the Ernest army. An old man there reveals that many crucial items are fakes. The guide then returns to McCormick in Chapter 13, only to find it also devastated by the Ernest army's invasion, with the king injured. The hero must speak to the injured king. Chapter 14 covers Legratz, the final village before entering Ernest's territory, emphasized as the place for last-minute preparations before the endgame. Finally, Chapter 15 onwards covers the push towards the conclusion, noting that the hero should be at maximum strength and ready to face the final challenges independently. The screenshots depict various scenes from these locations, showing town exploration, encounters with characters, the ruined state of towns, and what appears to be the final boss confrontation against Rolka. This page presents a detailed item list for the RPG Vermilion, covering essential gear you'll find throughout your journey. It focuses primarily on items available for purchase in shops, though it hints at some hidden treasures as well. The guide emphasizes that having these items is crucial for navigating the world of Vermilion, suggesting that obtaining them allows players to progress effectively. The list is broken down into several categories: general items or tools, swords, shields, and armor. For each entry, the page provides key information, including the item's name, its effect or where it can be acquired, its value, likely purchase or sale price, and for weapons and armor, its relevant stats like attack power for swords or defense for shields and armor. This list serves as a valuable reference for players looking to equip themselves properly as they delve deeper into the game's challenges. It's a straightforward breakdown of the gear you'll rely on to survive the dangers of Vermilion. This page continues the guide for Vermilion, focusing on its magic system. It explains that magic is learned by buying spell books at magic shops in towns, and that there's a limit to how many spells can be learned. The guide is divided into attack magic and defense magic. The attack magic section covers various elemental types. Fire magic includes spells like Demudo, Gamudo, Temudo, and Remudo, dealing increasing levels of fire damage. Water magic features Hydoro and Dehidoro, primarily attacking with water bursts, with screenshots showing the Hydoro spell animation. Air magic has Garamu and Sadamu, creating vacuums or air projectiles. Thunder magic lists Sabasu and Teradesu, both powerful electrical attacks, with screenshots demonstrating Jigadesu and Teradesu animations. A separate powerful attack spell, Astra, is also mentioned, causing tremors. The defense magic section covers spells used for healing, utility, and support, noting they cannot be used during combat. Spells like Kima, Kiru, and Kin provide healing, with Kin restoring full HP. Vanity is a spell to cure poison. Rex is used for teleportation back to the surface from dungeons. Vicious, Palette, a light spell, and Ares, town teleportation, are also listed, highlighting their utility. The page provides descriptions and costs for most spells. This page features a guide to Tell Stadium, a baseball simulation game from Sunsoft for the Mega Drive, slated for a March 1990 release. The article presents it as the second part of a new software master guide. The game is highlighted as a simulation where you take on the role of manager, not a player, focusing on strategy and coaching. It features impressive graphics and character animation for its time. A key aspect is the inclusion of 30 teams, apparently modeled after real pro baseball teams, allowing for deep gameplay. The game supports modem communication for online battles and allows players to create their own original teams. Different modes are available, including a pennant mode for league play, a telephone mode for modem matches, a watching mode to view games, and modes for checking team/player data and editing teams. Screenshots show the in-game action, a menu for game options, a screen displaying numerous team logos for selection, and a sound test menu. The article aims to provide a simple breakdown of the game's modes and features, using charts and images. This page continues the guide on Tell Stadium,
starting with Lesson 1, which delves into the game's simulation depth. Despite its appearance, the game focuses on strategic management, using detailed player data to influence pitching and batting approaches. It highlights tactical decisions, like using specific pitches or waiting for runners before changing tactics. Lesson 2 explains the edit mode. You start by naming your manager and choosing a model team, noting that while you can rename the team, its initials are fixed. Next, you select a head coach, who acts as an advisor influencing training outcomes and game strategy when watching matches. The guide then covers player training, where stats are altered randomly. Training severely impacts stamina, so it's recommended to focus on developing reserve players. Once editing is complete, you can start the pennant race against computer opponents, with plenty of enjoyment from rankings and win percentages. The guide emphasizes training reserve players as a key strategy point. Screenshots illustrate the various menu options and screens for these modes. This page continues the guide for Tell.Tell Stadium, delving into more advanced gameplay mechanics. Lesson 3 focuses on player substitution, highlighting the critical need to manage pitcher stamina, which isn't visually shown and requires careful tracking. It advises having a deep pitching staff and using pitchers strategically, even assigning specific roles like setup or closer, to maintain their effectiveness throughout the game. Lesson 4 covers the open mode, the core gameplay experience. It emphasizes putting strategic commands into practice during key moments, like scoring chances or defensive pinches. A significant point made is the random nature of errors, which are influenced by team defense but cannot be prevented by the player. You can only hope they don't happen during critical situations. The guide also suggests utilizing the in-game data command to scout opponent players, understanding a pitcher's favorite pitches, or a batter's skill at small ball to inform your strategy. Several screenshots show various game situations, from pitching and fielding to menu overlays and the final score screen. This page covers essential strategies like managing pitcher stamina and understanding the impact of random errors in gameplay. This page continues the guide for Tell.Tell Stadium, focusing on Lesson 5, Communication Battle. This section explains the game's online multiplayer feature, although the reviewer notes they couldn't actually test it this month because it requires 2 copies of the game room and 2 modems. The article details the setup process, showing screenshots of the telephone menu, registering an opponent's name, registering their phone number, and initiating a call for a match. The reviewer expresses excitement about being able to use custom-edited teams in online play. They also mention the game saves communication battle results, which is highlighted as a unique feature. Despite not being able to test the online play, the reviewer expresses a strong desire to try it out at least once. They also note that this version of the room is not final, and there are balance issues between teams. Below the guide, there is a section showcasing the Tell.Tell Stadium uniform collection, displaying various team uniforms and players, including teams named Triggers, Options, Spirals, Hoax, Wiles, Brinks, Calf, Futures, Galliots, Buckles, Drastics, Lilacs, Juniors, Idols, Vegetals, Sumobeya, Kamigatas, Wrestlers, Excites, Yahoos, Takeshigun, Kuyaren, Nestors, Olympies, Animates, Summits, Unions, Reserves, Majors, and Questions. The page ends with a note promising a big data reveal in the next issue, hinting at further details about the game. 37. This page highlights the sales trends on the Mega Data Land chart, declaring Super Hangin' as the monthly MVP for October. An accompanying article discusses the weekly top 3 charts, noting the strong performance of new releases like Forgotten Worlds and Mystic Defender, both debuting at number 1. The difficulty of maintaining the top spot is presented as a measure of a game's power. The article also previews a busy December release schedule featuring anticipated titles such as Golden Axe, Herzog Zwei, Curse, Cop, Cuckoo, and Vermilion. The October monthly chart shows Super Hangin' at number 1, followed by Rambo 2i, Super Thunderblade, Ghouls and Ghosts, and Super Daisen Ryaku. The final week of October saw Ghouls and Ghosts climb to number 1, with Hokuto no Ken and Super Hangin' rounding out the top 3. Additionally, a survey section provides insights into the typical Mega reader, covering their average visits to game centers per month, the amount of money they spend, and a list of games they hope to see revived, including Outrun, Alien Syndrome, Space Harrier 3D, R-Type, and YSIN2. This page presents the November weekly game rankings, showing the continued strength of established titles like Super Hangin', Rambo 2i, and Ghouls and Ghosts in the first 2 weeks. Forgotten Worlds and Mystic Defender made significant debuts,
each reaching the #1 spot in the 3rd and 4th weeks respectively, demonstrating the power of new releases to shake up the charts, a trend seen in the previous month. The page also provides a comprehensive schedule of anticipated game releases stretching from January through August. This future lineup includes a diverse range of titles such as Sorcerian, Ghostbusters, Thunder Force 2 Eyes, Afterburner 2, Super Monaco GP, Wrestle War, Insector X, Zero Wing, Batman, and SWAT, among many others, giving players a glimpse of the exciting games on the horizon. Many releases are listed with provisional details, particularly regarding pricing. Finally, a small survey section reveals reader preferences for game creators and opponents. Fans expressed interest in having famous figures like Akira Toriyama and TM Network make games, while listing popular idols like Noriko Sakai and Wink as people they'd like to challenge in gameplay. This page features the 5th installment of a personal essay series by Miura Jun, titled, "Anything You See is 4 Verses." The accompanying cartoon humorously depicts the author and a frog character using a newspaper as a battleground, illustrating the essay's theme of turning everyday actions into competitive games. In this entry, the author reflects on various creative endeavors, including producing a short animation for an NHK music program and contributing illustrations to the magazine, specifically mentioning the guitar-playing frog seen previously. He also touches upon the recording progress of his band, Oshima Nagisa. The essay delves into the idea of competition, relating it to reading the newspaper and reflecting on the game industry of the 90s, mentioning games like Tetris and referencing Super Mario Bros. 3 in a different context. He humorously suggests that humans are fundamentally designed for competition. The page also notes upcoming content, including changes to the corner in the March issue, and details about Miura Jun's Cockroach Boss in the next special issue. An announcement is also made for the release of the Oshima Nagisa CD in mid-February 1990. This page presents the Hot-Blooded Mega Drive Declaration 1990 edition, a popular series project. It heralds the start of the new year by outlining the passionate vision and strategy of Sega for the Mega Drive in 1990, emphasizing their commitment to the console. The feature also brings in Taito, a significant force in the game industry, and Hot B, who are preparing to join the Mega Drive market, suggesting a year of intense competition. The imagery depicts representatives from Taito, Sega, and Hot B wearing boxing gloves, symbolizing the competitive spirit among these companies as they vie for prominence on the Mega Drive platform. This page focuses on the Sega Mega Drive's prospects for the coming year, asking if 1990 will see the console finally unleash its full potential after a strong software release push late last year. The article centers around an interview discussing Sega's plans. A key topic is the Mega Drive modem, which is confirmed to be finally releasing this spring. The delay was apparently due to wanting to improve the service and ensure a sufficient lineup of software was available. Plans are in motion for downloadable games using the modem, with discussions mentioning game sizes around 256K, distinguishing them from the larger 1 or 2 mega cartridge titles common at the time. The page features photographs of Sega representatives, including Mr. Kamada, discussing these strategies and outlooks for the year. This page continues the discussion on upcoming peripherals for the Mega Drive. Following up on the modem mentioned previously, it notes the limitations on game size suitable for download, suggesting puzzle games or text RPGs are likely candidates. It also touches on Sega's exploration of options like floppy disk drives and CRED-ROM, acknowledging the challenges but stating Sega is actively researching all possibilities. A major highlight is the confirmation of the Mega Drive joystick, identified as the Sega Genesis Arcade Power Stick in the accompanying photo. It's reported to be nearly complete after being shown at CES in early January and is expected to launch around April. The article details its features, including a start button, 3 trigger buttons each with a turbo function, and a control stick utilizing robust, commercial-grade microswitches, emphasizing its solid construction. The page also briefly discusses game capacity in relation to potential disc formats, comparing it to cartridge sizes, and uses classic titles like Phantasy Star II and Vermilion as examples of existing cartridge sizes. This page delves into Sega's software strategy for the Mega Drive, expressing confidence in a stronger lineup for the year ahead, both in terms of quantity and quality. It notes a significant shift in staff towards consumer software development, which is seen as a key factor in improving the quality. The discussion highlights upcoming titles, including ports of popular games like Sorcerians and Ghouls on Ghosts, aiming to satisfy fans, while also focusing on expanding the audience with more family-friendly titles like Magical Hat.
The small image on the page features characters from Magical Hat, signaling this broader appeal. The highly anticipated Phantasy Star II and Vermilion are also mentioned as key releases shaping the future of the lineup. A major point is Sega's move to establish a software development company in America. The aim is to create games specifically tailored for the US market, recognizing that simply porting Japanese titles isn't sufficient. This expansion into overseas development is seen as crucial for the Mega Drive's growth, alongside exploring partnerships with third-party developers in Europe, particularly for their 8-bit titles. The complexity and depth of Western RPGs, compared to Japanese ones, are noted as an example of the market differences requiring localized development efforts. The photo on the right shows Mr. Sato, likely discussing these strategic moves. This page continues the discussion on Sega's strategy for the Mega Drive in 1990, aiming to make it the top console by consistently delivering enjoyable software for both hardcore fans and a wider audience, exemplified by titles like Magical Hat. Sega plans to improve software quality and expand the user base, while constantly exploring new development avenues like Next R. The interview, conducted on December 5th, also features a prominent graphic for Sega NetGame, highlighting the company's high expectations for download gaming. The page then introduces Hot B, a new third-party developer stepping into the Mega Drive market. In an interview, Hot B discusses their decision to join the platform in late 1989, early 1990, influenced by seeing the Mega Drive's American launch at SEGA. Their history includes developing titles for the Famicom, such as the popular fishing game series The Black Bass, and strategy games like Nobunaga's Ambition. Hot B chose the Mega Drive due to its strong user base in the 15-17 age range. Their first title for the system will be Kakugeki, an arcade port, which they also plan to release in America. They indicate future releases will primarily focus on porting video games, alongside potentially developing simulation titles similar to their earlier work. This page introduces Taito, a major player from the arcade scene, entering the Mega Drive market. In an interview, Taito's planning division manager, Mr. Kuriyama, discusses their strategy. He mentions targeting an older demographic, specifically 3,040-year-olds, a group that responded well to titles like their strategy game, Taikta Shinjin 2, drawing from their extensive history in arcades, with classics like Space Invaders, Darius, and Bubble Bobble, as well as experience on systems like the Famicom and PC Engine. Taito aims to bring their diverse game catalog to Mega Drive users. They are starting with simulation games but plan to explore other genres, including action and shoot-'em-ups like the upcoming Sector X, scheduled for May or June. Taito's first Mega Drive title is the action game Kakugeki, set for an April release, a screenshot of which is shown here depicting two characters fighting on a grid. Mr. Kuriyama touches upon the technical challenges involved in porting arcade games, particularly regarding scaling and character movement, citing Kakugeki as an example. He concludes by urging Mega Drive fans to pick up Kakugeki. The page also includes a brief timeline of Taito's company history. This page features interviews with Sega staff, Mr. Yamana from marketing, and Mr. Oyama from CP Business, discussing the direction of the Mega Drive in 1990. They touch upon the importance of porting arcade games, acknowledging the system's capabilities make this easier compared to other consoles at the time. They mention popular fan requests for arcade ports like New Zealand Story, Truxton, and Ninja Warriors. The staff also express interest in developing original games tailored specifically for the Mega Drive's strengths, aiming to recreate the excitement of the arcade experience at home. The page also addresses frequently asked questions from readers. One question concerns the status of peripherals, like the FDD and CD-ROM drive for the Mega Drive, to which Sega acknowledges the hardware is ready, but software development is still progressing. Another significant query relates to the Mega Drive version of Tetris. Sega confirms they had the rights, but the legal battle between Nintendo and Atari/Tengen over console Tetris rights has put the Mega Drive version in a difficult situation, highlighting how copyright issues affected game availability. A screenshot of New Zealand Story is displayed alongside the interview. This page features the second installment of a serialized science fiction fantasy novel titled Continuing the Dream, written by Laichi Hara. This page features the fourth installment of the Technology Trend Communication column, which delves into the topic of computer viruses, drawing parallels with biological viruses like influenza. The column notes that just as cold and flu season arrives, so too does the season for computer viruses. It explains that computer viruses are self-replicating programs that can spread through copying software or via communication networks, potentially causing damage such as deleting data or displaying unusual messages. The discussion likens the spread to a Trojan horse. The article then introduces antivirus programs as vaccines for computers, which work to detect and remove these malicious programs. It stresses the importance of prevention, urging users to be cautious about suspicious software. The piece concludes by reinforcing the comparison to common illnesses and advising vigilance against computer viruses.
The column is written by Akagi Nijuyaku.
This page features a lively illustration depicting a fierce sumo wrestling match between two titans, symbolizing the console war, with one holding a banner wishing for a good year and the other declaring Japan's #1. The main article questions whether the launch of the PC Engine Supergraphs was counterproductive, analyzing the ongoing rivalry between the PC Engine, TurboGrafx-16, and the Mega Drive, Genesis. It discusses their respective market positions, software libraries, and the challenges they face. The text highlights the importance of strong third-party support for success, mentioning games like Ghouls and Ghosts as examples of significant titles. The article also includes a table with estimated installed base figures for both consoles in Japan and overseas markets, showing their differing levels of success in various regions. Overall, the page captures the intense competition and strategic considerations dominating the console market at the time, emphasizing software development and market penetration as key factors.
This page features a dynamic illustration depicting a sumo match, a metaphor for the intense console competition kicking off the new decade in 1990. The article, written by Jam Ojisan and illustrated by Yutaka Kondo, provides an outlook on the TV game industry for the year. Welcoming the 90s, the author reflects on reader feedback, noting a concern from a reader that the Genesis might be considered a minor player. The core of the article is the anticipation surrounding the year's gaming landscape. A major point is the speculation about whether the Super Famicom, Super NES, will launch in 1990, a question weighing heavily on fans. The piece then analyzes the Famicom, NES, camp. While acknowledging its massive installed base advantage, the author suggests that the Famicom's software library is showing signs of stagnation. Games like Dragon Quest IV and Final Fantasy II-I are mentioned in the context of popular series on the system, but the overall lineup is described as becoming repetitive compared to the offerings on the Genesis and TurboGrafx-16. The article argues that 1990 is poised to be a year where strong, diverse software, particularly in genres like action, shooters, and RPGs, will be the key differentiator between the competing platforms, rather than just hardware sales figures. This page features an interview with Zuntata, Taito's renowned sound team, celebrating the release of the CD soundtrack for Darius 2. The interview is with Mr. Ogura and Mr. Takagi, discussing the music and sound design behind the game. They explain that the theme for Darius 2's sound is the love of the universe, contrasting it with the more aggressive concept of the first Darius. They delve into the musical concepts, the use of vocals as an instrument, and the collaborative approach within Zunta. The team emphasizes creating music driven by a strong concept, reflecting on their journey from band influences to crafting unique game soundtracks. This page features a major highlight for music fans, announcing that Minoru Mukaya, the keyboardist from the legendary fusion band Cassiopeia, composed the music for Koei's Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2. The article also continues the discussion on game soundtracks, specifically focusing on CD releases. It covers the soundtrack album for Darius 2, which includes both the original arcade tracks and arranged versions across 2 discs. Additionally, the CD release for the PC Engine version of Darius is discussed, noting its sound source capabilities compared to the arcade original. An interesting anecdote is shared about recording the Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2 music in Thailand, hiring local musicians who learned the parts by ear, leading to some humorous moments. These CD soundtracks were released, allowing fans to enjoy the game music outside of the arcade or console. This page highlights another significant music release of the season. The soundtrack CD for Shinobi. Released remarkably quickly after the game itself, the article praises its quality, attributing it partly to composer Yuzo Koshiro, known for his innovative approach to game music. The page also announces the Reader's Choice Sound Club Grand Prize poll. Readers are invited to vote for their favorite game music across 2 categories: Best Game Music and Best Album. Early votes show titles like Thunder Force 2, Valis 2, Turbo Outrun, Heidelide 3, Legend of Valkyrie, Star Cruiser, Shinobi, and Space Harrier 2 are popular in the Best Game Music category. For Best Album,
Titles receiving early votes include Earthbound, Lost World, The Scheme, Supersonic Team, The Castlevania Arranged Album, YS Symphonic Poem, music from YS2, and Darius 2. As a bonus, game software and creds for Shinobi and Darius 2 are being given away. A side article, humorously titled, "This is the Secret Story of Cover and Plagiarism's Birth," appears to be an essay discussing music production, covers, and potential creative overlaps, possibly touching on the pop idol duo Wink, accompanied by a comic-style illustration. Finally, a list details upcoming game music CD and cassette tape releases, including soundtracks for SAR-Type 2, Unsquadron, Ninja Spirit, Legend of Shangri-La, Dragon Quest IV Symphonic Suite, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, and Wizardry 2Y. This page continues the serialized travelogue, Japan RPG Travelogue, presenting the fourth installment and the conclusion of the first night segment at the Akame 48 Waterfalls. The author recounts the challenging end to their day, battling heavy rain and cold after arriving at the waterfalls, highlighting the difficult terrain and the exhausting walk. They finally reach a tea house, seeking refuge and waiting for a bus back, only to find the bus schedule indicates no service until the next month. The accompanying comic strip vividly depicts the author and companions' drenched and miserable state, illustrating their desperate desire for warmth and comfort, listing items like hot nabe mano, green tea, and even a wormy bath, highlighting the stark contrast between their current discomfort and the simple pleasures they crave. In a concluding note, the author humorously acknowledges that while the series title promises a connection between travel and game design, the narrative so far has focused solely on the travel ordeal. They promise that starting with the second night's story in the next installment, they will finally begin to delve into how these experiences relate to game development concepts. It seems the journey itself proved more dramatic than initially anticipated. This page features the BeepMD section, illustrated with cartoon characters. It includes several distinct features. The Things I Want to Say to the Industry segment presents user feedback, offering suggestions for improving game design elements in titles like Phantasy Star IV, covering aspects from map design and battle backgrounds to animation, game systems, graphics, and scrolling. Following this is a game software review focused on Forgotten Worlds. The reviewer praises the game's sound and balance, considering it a good value despite the graphics being deemed a bit dated compared to arcade versions. Drawing a comparison to Hang It, the review notes the relatively easy difficulty but highlights that experienced players could likely clear it quickly. The Cheat and Strategy Hotline provides tips specifically for Forgotten Worlds, detailing methods for obtaining continues and performing a mega crash using the B button, along with strategies for playing with 2 players. Finally, there's a short comic strip titled Mega-chan, depicting a scene at the toy corner of a department store, likely a humorous anecdote or character interaction related to gaming. This page continues the BeepMD section, featuring more fan contributions and game commentary. It includes strategy tips for Forgotten Worlds, detailing approaches for specific bosses like the Sayulif and the Heavenly King, accompanied by helpful illustrations. A high-score submission for Super Hangin' is also featured. The Game Stories section offers lighthearted discussion, referencing a period drama title and presenting quirky trivia points related to the Sega Genesis, popular musicians like Carlos Toshiki and Kiyotaka Sugiyama, and the character, Kitaro. There's also a short comic strip titled MD Cat-Eyed Teacher, providing humorous observations, and a fan illustration titled Za Super Shinobi, depicting characters from the Shinobi series alongside others that resemble Rambo and characters from Final Fight, accompanied by commentary. The overall tone is a blend of helpful tips and casual, fan-driven content. This page features a section titled Game Software Review Part 2 and Thorough Comparison of Game Software Across Models, which consists of reader contributions offering opinions on Sega's game releases and ports. One piece discusses the controversy around Sega porting titles like Power Drift and Afterburner to other platforms, with the writer expressing support for this strategy as it generates revenue and builds Sega's reputation. They also comment on the overall quality of MegaDrive software, mentioning games like Space Harrier 2 and the excellent Ghouls Ain Ghosts, and touch upon the evolution of Sega's console approach. Another section compares game performance across different hardware, specifically detailing versions of Afterburner on systems like the Master System and PC Engine, TurboGrafx 16, noting differences in graphics, sound, and control compared to the arcade original.
There's also commentary on the gaming capabilities of computers like the FM Towns and X68000, mentioning titles like Forgotten Worlds, and discussing their technical merits and limitations compared to dedicated game consoles. The sentiment suggests these computer ports, while sometimes technically impressive, might not offer the same gameplay feel. Below these reviews is a fan art section called Clint's Character Special, showcasing reader-submitted illustrations. This includes a short, humorous comic strip featuring a thinking penguin and various character drawings, some referencing specific games like Final Blow or Ghouls, End Ghosts, and Super Hydlide, submitted by readers providing their location and age. This page continues the discussion from the previous page, with a reader offering further thoughts on game ports, specifically praising the quality of the Afterburner port on a particular system, highlighting its successful replication of the flight feel despite graphical differences from the arcade. It also touches on the technical capabilities of computer platforms, like the X68000, and the role of the publisher. A large section outlines potential content areas for reader submissions, covering everything from game reviews and rumors to character art, debates, and even personal recommendations like idols. There's a plea for a dedicated control stick peripheral, illustrated with a comic strip featuring a person wishing for one while playing Tetris. Fan contributions include a creative step-by-step guide on how to draw the character Uru, along with other fan art, notably a character called Ultra Batman, and requests for game adaptations like Star Trek. The page concludes with reflections on games as a cultural form, and the magazine's aim to provide engaging content that keeps readers eagerly anticipating the next issue. This page features the recurring column, Dai Pi Majin, Aaron Sai Katsudu's videos. I'll talk about anything. Hosted by Aaron Sai Katsudu and Kajo Yuko. This month, the topic is, Female Vampires Don't Need Silk Hats. Focusing on video releases related to the theme, the discussion delves into why female vampires are chosen as the subject, contrasting them with traditional Dracula figures, and noting a trend towards more relatable, less distant vampire portrayals. They list 4 films relevant to the theme: Near Dark, The Hunger, and Fright Night 1 and 2. The conversation heavily focuses on Near Dark, which is described as a dark fantasy film. They walk through the basic premise of a young man meeting a female vampire and getting involved with her nomadic vampire group. The reviewers highlight the film's mix of genres, blending horror, romance, and action, noting how the protagonist's integration into the vampire family follows a classic pattern of youth drama. The discussion touches on the film's violent and action-packed climax. The page includes a visual reference with a poster image for Near Dark. The tone is a lively exchange between the two hosts, reflecting on the appeal and evolution of vampire stories in video media. This page continues the discussion on vampire films. Moving on to The Hunger, which featured David Bowie and Catherine Deneuve. The reviewers note the sad beauty of the film, focusing on Bowie's character aging rapidly while Deneuve remains youthful, a stark contrast that makes for a romantic yet poignant story. They also comment on the film's visual style. The conversation then shifts to Fright Night 2, where they praise the female vampire character, describing her as mysterious and impactful, noting her transformation from a seemingly innocent girl to a mature woman. Despite the first film being more well-known, they strongly prefer the second installment, finding it much more engaging due to the strength of this character and the plot involving her trying to steal the protagonist. The page features images related to The Hunger and Fright Night 2. The next page highlights a trio of notable releases. First up is the highly anticipated historical simulation game, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2. Following the success of its predecessor, which even garnered an award in the use version, this sequel promises deeper gameplay and the return of famous generals like Cao Cao and Sun Quan. It's described as a strategic game with a lot of hype surrounding its release. Next, there's a peculiar entry about brain medical music on CD, presented as a information piece. This isn't a game, but rather an audio product described as influencing the mind, similar to a synchro energizer, featuring different programs aimed at refreshing listeners. Finally, we delve into Dragon Quest II, Luminaries of the Legendary Line through Gamebooks. This section features 2 books based on the beloved RPG, offering a novelization that expands on the original story, with details not found in the game. Notably, the main characters are given specific names in this version. The books present the story as a text adventure intertwined with manga elements. The reviewer notes how the story is preserved, but the presentation offers a different perspective, reflecting the wide multimedia reach of the Dragon Quest series, including novels, manga, and anime.
This page explores the expanding world of video content beyond traditional movies, highlighting how the medium is being used for a wide variety of purposes. The article, titled, "It's Not Just Movies That Are Video," is part of the Come Come information series and showcases diverse video releases. It touches upon seasonal videos, like fireworks compilations, and fun videos for social gatherings. More interestingly, it features videos covering specific subjects, such as the 1968 space documentary, Frontier to Space, 1, US military footage like the Pentagon series, featuring a B-52 bomber, 2A, and the US Navy's Blue Angels flight team, 2B, and the intricate NHK documentary, Mysterious Human Body, 3, using advanced microscopy and CG. For film enthusiasts, there's a making-of video for Terry Gilliam's The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, titled Battle of Baron, Terry Gilliam Creation Secrets, 7, where the director himself provides insights into the production. The page also notes the rise of practical video guides for things like word processors and computers, including introductory guides like First Computer, 8, and guides for popular games like the Tetris Complete Strategy video, 5, and the more adult-oriented Mahjong Girls Graffiti, 6. The piece emphasizes the video medium's growing accessibility and popularity for learning, entertainment, and specialized interests, noting some videos have sold over 130,000 copies. This page introduces a new column titled The Nostalgic Game Graffiti Volume 1 by Hidenori Takahashi. The author reflects on the current state of gaming, noting the rapid evolution and complexity of modern video games pushed by computers, which he feels puts simpler, nostalgic games at risk. He contrasts this with the earlier era he grew up in, where games were more accessible and enjoyed by everyone, including a time when Famicom, NES, games exploded in popularity, but also led to the decline of simpler arcade experiences. The column aims to shine a light on these nostalgic games that are being swept aside by the wave of high-tech gaming. The author shares personal memories of playing simple games like a Shinkansen game, pinball, or Ebisaball at department store rooftops as a child, games he still enjoys today. He observes that while arcade centers mostly feature new machines, the atmosphere of places selling games, including board games, remains vibrant. He believes that preserving and documenting these older, flavorful games is a significant cultural undertaking. The accompanying image shows Ultraman standing next to arcade machines, visually referencing a nostalgic era associated with classic Japanese entertainment. This page begins the first installment of the Nostalgic Game Graffiti column, picking up right where the introduction left off. The author recounts his first research trip for the column, visiting Tsukioka Land, an amusement park near Niigata that was about to close in November 1989. He describes the park as a mix of zoo and amusement area, now somewhat desolate, reflecting on its peak popularity years earlier. Despite the park's state, he found items central to the column's mission. Old gacha machines, featuring classic characters like Ultraman and Iron King. He describes the Ultraman machine, noting its coin slot location and how the capsule dispensed. He uses these finds to highlight the dwindling presence of such nostalgic relics, and emphasizes the urgency of documenting and preserving them before they vanish entirely. The page also includes an appeal from the Nostalgic Game Investigation and Preservation Committee, asking readers to report any nostalgic games they discover, offering a small reward for contributions. The main photo shows a weathered Ultraman statue or gacha machine base, reinforcing the theme of finding classic entertainment items in unexpected places. It sets a tone of melancholy discovery and a call to action for fellow enthusiasts. BeepMD Dog Race is a new review feature where game scores influence a simulated dog race. This inaugural section reviews The Revenge of Shinobi, the Sega Genesis sequel. The game follows Joe Musashi's quest for revenge and to rescue his fiancée, Naoko. 3 reviewers offer their perspectives. Kick Naito gives an 8, appreciating the graphics, sound, and balance difficulty, especially the bosses. Olix Koji, a self-proclaimed expert, awards a 9, praising the challenge, beautiful visuals, and Yuzo Koshiro's music. Yoshinoya Gyubei scores a 7, finding the controls difficult, but acknowledging the excellent sound and character animations, suggesting a challenge for experienced players. The reviews, complete with screenshots and caricatures of the reviewers, will ultimately determine the odds in the dog race. This page continues the BeepMD Dog Race reviews from the previous section. First up is Truxton Tatsujin, a classic arcade vertical shooter port known for its intense difficulty. Reviewers commend its faithful conversion, but note the extreme challenge, suggesting it's only clearable by masters of the genre, leading to mixed scores, including a high 9 but also 7s. Next is Mahjong Cop Ryu, a mahjong game with adventure elements. Reviewers found the mahjong solid, but the overall package lacking depth, particularly in the adventure portions, resulting in lower scores mainly around 5 and 6. Hellfire by Technosoft is reviewed next. Despite showing a shooter screenshot, it's described as a real-time simulation or strategy game focusing on controlling combat. While learning the rules is tough, the real-time action and strategy layer become engaging once understood, especially in two-player mode. Reviewers appreciated its unique approach, awarding scores of 7 and 8. Finally, Vermilion, a Sega RPG, developed by staff from Sega's Arcade Experience games. It combines 3D dungeon exploration with 2D town and action-based combat. Reviewers found the combat accessible and the game flows smooth, making it suitable for RPG beginners, although some graphical elements like map clarity were criticized. Scores ranged from 5 to 8. These diverse games and their scores contribute to the ongoing BeepMD race competition. This page continues the BeepMD race reviews. First up is the classic Beat 'em Up, Golden Axe. This port of the popular arcade game is seen as a decent effort for the home console, capturing the heroic fantasy feel, but reviewers note it doesn't quite match the original arcade experience, particularly regarding character lineups and overly effective magic. It scores around 7, indicating a solid but not spectacular port. Next is Curse, a horizontal shooter. Reviewers found the graphics and music standard, with plenty of power-ups, but criticized the lack of enemy variety and somewhat heavy character movement. Despite a nice 2-layer scroll, the overall feel and limited stage count led to consistent scores of 6. Finally, Zoom is reviewed, a puzzle action game. While initially unimpressive visually, players found it surprisingly addictive. It's described as an old-style area-filling game with some modern touches. However, it leans more towards action than pure puzzles, and the control pad implementation was seen as a drawback, resulting in scores mostly around 7. A side comment suggests games 5 and 8, Zoom, are good targets, with Golden Axe also mentioned favorably depending on playstyle and budget. This page presents a retrospective guide on early Sega Mega Drive software released between late 1988 and late 1989, titled, What Can Be Said Now? Buy This. The introductory text suggests that despite owning the console, many people might not have played many early games, perhaps due to initial reviews being based on rush testing or incomplete information. The guide is intended to help players choose these older titles. 6 games are featured with descriptions, screenshots, and reviewer comments. These include the classic arcade shooter Space Harrier 2, praised for its smooth 3D visuals and stage select, and the action-packed Altered Beast, noted for its unique power-ups and sound design. The platformer Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle is highlighted for its cute characters and familiar gameplay style, despite a challenging difficulty. Super Thunderblade, another 3D shooter, receives mixed comments, enjoying the controls but finding fault with boss scaling and overall design. The action game Osomatsu-kun, based on the popular manga, is seen as easy with faithful character appearances. Finally, the epic RPG Phantasy Star IV is lauded for its detailed graphics, dramatic story, and music, but criticized for its vast dungeons and somewhat disconnected character subplots. Overall, the page serves as a helpful look back at the console's initial lineup, offering guidance on which early titles might be worth picking up. In 1989, the Sega Genesis saw a diverse range of games. Super League offered realistic baseball, but was bogged down by tedious features. Thunder Force 2 delivered a solid shooter experience. World Cup Soccer presented a familiar football experience but suffered from clunky controls. Ozaki Naomichi no Supermasters aimed for a comprehensive golf game. Super Hang-In offered a faithful arcade racing port with some simplicity. War City. Forgotten Worlds was a cooperative shooter with unique controls but repetitive content. Super Daisenryaku was a strategy game with multiplayer potential, hampered by slow AI. Last Battle, based on Fist of the North Star, was considered monotonous. Ghouls in Ghosts was a nearly perfect arcade port, though difficult. Super Highlight was a flawed action RPG, and Rambo 2I was excessively difficult. Finally, Mystic Defender offered impressive visuals but generic gameplay. This page highlights several magazines published by Nihon SoftBank in the late 1980s, early 1990s, documenting the rise of personal computers and software. Key publications include Pasicon magazine, covering PC testing, software reviews, and PC comparisons. PC focuses on business applications, including budgeting and word processing. X features C programming, alongside topics like connecting devices and action games. FM explores the FM towns, covering picture editors, programming, and online services. The monthly Information Processing Exam magazine prepares readers for exams, while the Computer magazine examines the PC 9801 and the evolution of computing. Finally, SEC magazine is dedicated to the ESIC programming language, offering in-depth features on various aspects of SEC programming. These magazines catered to a diverse audience of hobbyists, developers, and professionals navigating the evolving tech landscape. This page is all about bringing the arcade experience into your home. It features the highly anticipated KICO45DX control box, designed to let you play real arcade game boards directly on your home television. This box is built tough using professional-grade parts, ensuring durability, and it offers simultaneous two-player action with joystick support, compatible with a wide range of game boards, including mahjong titles. Packed with features, the new 590 model boasts auto-fire with adjustable speed, full stereo sound capabilities, color adjustment, and a power self-check. It uses the same core components as arcade machines, and includes a converter to output the game board's RGB signal to a standard home TV via the antenna or video input. Or you can get a version that supports high-quality RGB 21-pin output for compatible monitors. They also offer value bundles that include the control box and classic arcade PCBs like Frogger, Hyper Olympic, Mr. Do, 10-Yard Fight, Exciting Soccer, and various mahjong games. It even mentions arcade titles like Zippy Race and King of Boxer. The package typically includes joysticks, buttons, speakers, a headphone jack, and the necessary power supply and connectors. This looks like a serious setup for anyone wanting the authentic arcade feel without leaving the house. This page announces the results of the Mega Drive Academy Award, a special event celebrating the Mega Drive's first anniversary based on reader votes. Over 1,055 votes were cast across 19 different categories to determine the best games released up to October 1989. The article highlights the excitement of this reader-driven award, noting that while some expected winners were present, there were also surprising results. It specifically mentions Phantasy Star II and Ghouls and Ghosts being strong contenders. The page features photos of models holding trophies and a Sega Genesis console, representing the celebratory nature of the awards ceremony. Get ready, as the list of winning titles is about to be revealed. This page reveals the winners of the main categories in the Mega Drive Academy Award, based on reader votes. Leading the pack for the Best Work Award is Phantasy Star II, securing the top spot with a significant margin, highlighted with a dungeon screenshot. Following at number 2 is the challenging arcade port, Ghouls and Ghosts, shown with its iconic burning village scene. Third place goes to the strategy title Super Daisen Ryaku, depicted with its tactical hex grid map. The article notes the fierce competition, especially between Phantasy Star II and Ghouls and Ghosts, and includes comments from the production staff on receiving the awards. Moving on to the Character Awards. The Best Lead Actor Award sees Eustace from Phantasy Star II taking first place by a wide margin, praised for his role in the epic RPG. Arthur from Ghouls and Ghosts comes in second, recognized for his valiant efforts. For the Best Lead Actress Award, Nellie from Phantasy Star II dominates the category, winning first place. The Princess from Ghouls and Ghosts is the runner-up. The commentary notes Niwai's overwhelming popularity and suggests a potential lack of female leads in the Mega Drive library overall. Production staff comments are also included for these character categories, reflecting on the results and the character's appeal. This page presents the remaining results from the reader-voted Mega Drive Academy Awards. For the Best Lead Boss Award, Lucifer from Ghouls and Ghosts takes the top spot, praised for his imposing size and presence, followed by Mother Brain from Phantasy Star II. The Best Supporting Actor Award goes to Lassic from Phantasy Star II, beating out Lutz, also from Phantasy Star II, highlighting the game's strong cast. In the Best Supporting Actress category, Anna from Phantasy Star II is the clear winner, with Data Memory Daughter, also from Phantasy Star II, coming in second. Finally, the Best Supporting Enemy award is won by the Humble Porkman from Ghouls and Ghosts, with the Red Reamer King and Death, also from Ghouls and Ghosts, rounding out the top 3. The results clearly show the strong popularity of characters and enemies from Phantasy Star II and Ghouls and Ghosts among readers. Production staff comments reflect on the results, expressing appreciation for the fans' choices. The Mega Drive Academy Awards results are in. Phantasy Star II dominated, winning Best Scenario for its compelling script and memorable events, as well as Best Presentation for its impactful visuals and emotional resonance. The BG phone from Phantasy Star II took Best Item, recognized as a convenient anywhere save feature. Ghouls and Ghosts secured 2 awards: Best Weapon for the Psycho Cannon, a powerful weapon, and Best Armor for the Magic Armor, admired for its unique properties. Second place contenders included Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Daikaisen, Super Hydlide, Thunder Force, 2MD, and Altered Beast. The next page reveals more winners from the Mega Drive Academy Awards. Super Hang-In takes the prize for Best Music, lauded for its effective use of the system's sound hardware, just ahead of runner-up Thunder Force 2MD. Super Thunder Blade wins the Best Art Award for its impressive visuals and stage design, with Phantasy Star II earning second place for its beautiful graphics, particularly the dungeon art. Phantasy Star II is also recognized for Best Special Effects, praised for its detailed battle animations and diverse scrolling techniques, beating out Thunder Force 2MD, which was noted for its smooth high-speed scrolling. The Best Package Design Award goes to Ghouls and Ghosts for its powerful and realistic cover art, with Phantasy Star II taking second for its deep and compelling illustration. This page details more results from the Mega Drive Academy Awards, focusing on the Best Port and a rather unique Best Foreign Film category, alongside a special Bubbles Commemorative Grand Prize. First up is the Best Port Award, where Ghouls and Ghosts takes the top spot, lauded for its faithful and high-quality conversion. Super Hang-In comes in second place, followed by Super Daisen Ryaku, Thunder Force 2MD, and others, showing a strong lineup of early Genesis titles. The award highlights the successful translation of arcade experiences to the home console. Next is the quirky Best Foreign Film Award, which seems to be a playful category. Thunder Force 2MD surprisingly wins here, with Super Hydlide as the runner-up. The Bubbles Commemorative Grand Prize is awarded based on memorable Mega Drive-related topics since the console's launch. Topping this list is the delay of the Tetris release, reflecting the anticipation and frustration surrounding it. Other notable entries include the release of the Mega Drive console itself, third-party participation, and even Michael Jackson's visit to Sega. Short comments from the production staff of the award-winning games are also included. A message from the Beep's Mega Drive Academy Selection Committee thanks everyone for their support in making the awards a success, and announces plans for a second event next year. The page also includes an image of 3 women holding awards, likely from the ceremony, and lists some game software winners from the MD Academy, along with their locations across Japan. This page features a New Year special project centered around Sega's Joy Joy telephone service, a voice service for users. The previous voice actor, Chi-chan, has retired, and a new voice, Yuka-chan, is taking over. This is a contest titled, Who is the Real Yuka-chan?, challenging readers to identify her from 6 candidates presented with their photos and personal profiles. The page displays 6 individuals labeled number 1 through number 6, each with a nickname like Shi-chan, Dorami, and Marin Koni. Below their photos is a comprehensive profile table listing details, such as birth date, zodiac sign, origin, height, weight, foot size, blood type, hobbies, special skills, preferences, types of people, colors, sports, animals, fashion, music, food, artists, respected persons, personality, favorite and disliked body parts, and favorite games, mostly listed as Sega games. Readers are encouraged to study these profiles and photos to determine which candidate is the actual Yuka-chan. The contest requires sending in a postcard with the guest number, name, age, address, and phone number. The deadline for entries is February 8th. The correct answer and winners will be announced in a future issue, with winners receiving Sega game software. The page includes the mailing address for submissions in Tokyo. This page kicks off a feature on the Sega Mega Drive port of Sorcerian, titled New Work Thorough Master Part 3. The game, originally from Nihon Falcom, was published by Sega and released on February 24th for 7,000 yen. The content is presented through a humorous dialogue featuring a stressed panda character named Uraround and Miss Snowman. Uraround is apparently under pressure from their boss, seen in a small comic panel, to promote the Mega Drive, and this month's focus is Sorcerian. Miss Snowman steps in, revealing she knows all about the game. She describes it as an action RPG with horizontal scrolling. There's some playful banter about Uraround's appearance and intelligence, before Miss Snowman offers to teach Uraround about Sorcerian in a rather suggestive manner, though it comes at a cost. Uraround, perhaps distracted by the offer, seems to ignore the price, eager to learn more about the game. It's a light-hearted way to introduce readers to the intricacies of this classic title. This page acts as a review and introduction to Sorcerian on the Mega Drive, covering the fundamental aspects and character development. Lesson 0 revisits the basics, explaining that the game, ported from PC, features an omnibus scenario structure where you tackle independent stories and is an action RPG with unusual horizontal scrolling combat sections. The legendary town of Pentawa serves as the central hub connecting the 10 original scenarios included. Miss Snowman is presented as the instructor, guiding you through the details. The page includes screenshots showing the town and a combat encounter. Lesson 1 dives into character creation and growth. You choose one of 4 races, considering their stats, and select from a massive 60 different professions, each affecting income and suitability for certain scenarios. Becoming stronger involves 2 methods: training at a dojo or equipping magical items. Both methods require in-game time, typically 1 to 3 years. A unique element is character lifespan. Characters age and eventually die. However, you can create new characters who inherit items and knowledge from the deceased, allowing progress to continue although stats reset. Screenshots display the character creation process, profession list, and training mechanics. An illustration humorously depicts a character literally crunching a star to become stronger, perhaps representing the stat increase process. This page delves into Sorcerian's magic system, a key feature boasting 128 spells and a departure from conventional RPGs. Magic isn't a character skill, but is tied to items. By applying combinations of stars to equipable gear, characters imbue them with magical power. Using these spells consumes MP. Obtaining these stars involves visiting the magic shop in town, where 1 star is applied per visit, often taking 1 to 3 years of in-game time, consistent with the life/training mechanics discussed previously. An elder can also assist by appraising items and revealing star combinations for a fee. Flowcharts detail the paths for acquiring magic on purchased items or those found during exploration. To cast spells, the magic-infused item must be equipped. Once equipped, magic use is simple, requiring just a button press during gameplay. Screenshots highlight the action and the visual flair of the spells, commenting positively on the Mega Drive's graphical capabilities. This page delves into Sorcerian's item system, crucial for scenario completion. Items are categorized as equipable or non-equipable, serving various functions: casting magic, providing gear, recovering HP, or being sold. Humorously, the text notes that some items have race/size restrictions. Items found during adventures require appraisals in Pentawa to reveal stars, which directly boost character stats. Items without stars are often unusable. Inventory limits necessitate selling off common items. The page also elaborates on the 7 star types, impacting stats and magic. While details of magic creation are referenced elsewhere, this section highlights the need to unlock magical power through the Elder, at a cost. Screenshots illustrate the item shop and appraisal processes, showcasing item types and gold values. This page presents Lesson 4, which dives into the first adventure scenario for Sorcerian, titled Grey Dungeon, Level 1. The introduction sets the stage, explaining the labyrinth was created by a genius named Antronov, filled with traps and secret passages. His creations also attracted numerous strange monsters who now threaten the nearby area. Your mission is to uncover the dungeon's secrets and seal it permanently to prevent the monsters from escaping. The page emphasizes the need to overcome countless traps created by Antronov. A key objective highlighted is finding 3 weapons, which are necessary to seal the dungeon. Screenshots numbered 1 through 14 showcase various sections of the dungeon, illustrating the platforming and exploration required. One section specifically details the first trap, suggesting players look for subtle environmental clues and potentially consult the knowledgeable character, Wedge, for hints. Having covered character and item creation, as well as magic use in previous lessons, the page declares that with preparations complete, it's time to embark on the adventure. The next page continues the Sorcerian adventure in the Grey Dungeon scenario from Lesson 4. The title, "It's Full of Traps," sets the tone for the challenges ahead. The dialogue between Yu and Miss reflects their struggle, with Yu feeling lost and overwhelmed, while Miss reminds him the real fight is just beginning. The objective remains collecting the 3 essential items: the Shield of Madness, the Bell of Nightmares, and the Demonic Sword. Acquiring these is key to locating the Ring of the Sage. The text emphasizes that the character Wedge is quite reliable and helpful on this quest. The page highlights specific dungeon mechanics, such as, "It's a one-way street," showing doors that lock behind you, forcing careful progression. Another section ponders a seemingly significant mural, discussing environmental puzzles that might not be immediately obvious, suggesting players need to look closer or consult Wedge. Entering the Great Labyrinth entrance marks a significant point, described as the start of the true trial. The labyrinth itself is portrayed as incredibly difficult, filled with blood-freezing traps. Despite Yu's exhaustion, Miss notes that the final item is usually the hardest to obtain, and the most challenging part is navigating the rooms that require precise movement using left/right switches. The final obstacle mentioned is a particularly tough puzzle room that even the knowledgeable Wedge might not know the secret to, requiring sheer perseverance, which Yu dislikes. The numerous screenshots showcase the complex, multi-layered structure of the Grey Dungeon. This page details Scenario 2, Level 1, of Sorcerian, titled The Evergreen Village. This village, situated surprisingly warm within snowy mountains, owes its temperate climate to a guardian deity statue hidden in a cave. However, a dragon has taken residence there, threatening to destroy the statue. The village elder tasks the Sorcerians with moving the deity before disaster strikes, noting this scenario allows for up to 3 players. The primary quest here is to find Kim. Players must first visit the village elder's house to learn about the situation and receive a lantern. Kim is the missing village repairman, the son of a local family, who vanished after the festival and is identifiable by a specific pendant he wears, identical to his mother's. Other village encounters include a dancer in a tent, described as pretty but with a bad personality, and the fearsome dragon itself, found at the cave entrance. While the dragon might have been involved in Kim's disappearance, it seems to flee. The screenshots showcase the village houses, a tent, and the entrance and interior of the dragon's cave. A small drawing on the side appears to be a character commenting on the game or task. This page continues the walkthrough for Sorcerian's Evergreen Village scenario, focusing on the challenging cave system. Following the dragon's footprints leads the party deep into a complex dungeon. The commentary characters, Miss and Yu, discuss finally locating the dragon, with us expressing fear of being eaten. Miss points out the dragon wouldn't eat something like a panda, referencing Yu's appearance or nature, and questions its presence. The main text warns that this dungeon is incredibly difficult, comparing its confusing, seemingly identical areas and one-way paths to the infamous Aokigahara forest. Players must now concentrate on finding the guardian deity statue within this labyrinth. Yu laments the difficulty and wishes to return home. The series of screenshots visually guides the player through the intricate dungeon path. This page delves into the next part of the Sorcerian adventure, detailing Scenario 3, Level 2, known as the Waterfall of the Sky. The land of Pentawa is plunged into darkness as thick black clouds block out the sun, causing illness and crop failure. This disaster was foretold by the prophet Yan, though his warnings were dismissed. The cause, according to Yan, is an issue at the celestial waterfall of the sky, which normally regulates cloud production but has gone awry. To save Pentawa, you must clear the clouds and restore light. You'll encounter key characters like a peculiar craftsman, whose past actions have made him difficult, but you're warned not to attack him, as he may become important later. The prophet Yan himself reveals he knew of the coming disaster, and was secretly preparing for it by building the Falcon, a remarkable ship capable of flying into the sky powered only by wind. The path ahead is long, and includes navigating the treacherous Trolls Forest on the way to Tartar Village, the settlement located directly beneath the sky waterfall, where even the commentary character fears being eaten by trolls. Your goal is to find the golden gear believed to have fallen there. To succeed, you must speak with everyone in the village, though the guide emphasizes that clearing the scenario ultimately requires the help of someone with a specific profession. Screenshots showcase interactions with NPCs, the impressive Falcon ship, and various challenging environments. This page continues the journey through Sorcerian's Scenario 3, Waterfall of the Sky. Having ascended to the sky via the Falcon ship, you find the celestial waterfall that controls the clouds. However, an attack occurs upon arrival. It's revealed that the waterfall is being manipulated by an unknown entity, causing a perpetual overflow of clouds that darkens the land below. To fix this, you must first find the person responsible, the waterfall manager. Meeting the manager on the lowest basement level reveals that a figure like a storm destroyed the cloud control machine. The repair is almost complete, but one crucial golden gear is missing. Your task is now to descend back to the ground to locate this gear. The page features various screenshots showcasing the cloudy waterfall effect and the indoor and cave environments explored during your quest to find the missing part. Humorous mascot characters also interject with unrelated jokes, adding a lighthearted touch to the adventure's challenges. This page dives further into the world of Sorcerian, detailing 2 more scenarios. First up is Scenario 4, Chinese Medicine. This quest takes you to a Chinese-inspired land, in search of a powerful rejuvenating medicine. The visuals here have a distinct Chinese flavor. Your mission involves finding the key ingredients, which requires navigating challenges, including an underground passage leading to Haruan village. Along the way, you team up with Rinrin and encounter her cousin, Minmin, in the village, which seems to be suffering from a strange affliction. Screenshots show the party exploring these new environments and engaging in dialogue. Following that is Scenario 5, Pito's Altar. This scenario sees you venture into a frozen shrine to obtain the Fruit of Child, the only cure for a sick king. Exploring the icy depths involves solving puzzles, such as finding and using the emblem of Pitos to open a locked chest containing valuable items. You'll need to battle monsters to acquire the emblem. Ultimately, your journey leads you to Pito's altar itself, rumored to hold divine golden wine. Mascot characters continue to offer commentary on the challenges and discoveries within these levels. This page continues our deep dive into the classic action RPG Sorcerian, detailing more of its diverse scenarios. First up is Scenario 6, The Apprentice Magician. Set at a peaceful magic school suddenly plagued by monsters. Initially absent, they appear under specific conditions. You're tasked with uncovering the culprit, who is believed to be one of the school's own students. Exploration of the school's rooms is key to solving this mystery. Next is Scenario 7, Twin Islands. This tells the tale of 2 villages separated by the sea, once connected by a bridge and friendly ties. Their relationship sours when the Elf's Song, a vital music said to vitalize people and crops, can no longer be heard. Each village blames the other for stopping the music, and your mission is to resolve this misunderstanding. Screenshots show bridge traversal and island explorations. Scenario 8, Marionette's Mansion, takes place in Puppetstown. You encounter Minna, a girl distraught over her lost, cherished doll. Searching for the doll leads you into a much larger incident, hinting at deeper secrets within the mansion. Finally, the page previews Scenario 10, labeled as the final stage. This ultimate quest is only accessible after completing the previous 9 scenarios. Described as an omnibus format, it serves as a compilation or culmination of the Sorcerian adventure. The mascot character provides commentary throughout, guiding the player and even musing on other potential game appearances, showcasing the breadth of the Sorcerian world and its possibilities. This page continues the deep dive into Sega's classic action game, Shinobi, released in Japan as the Super Shinobi. It's presented as part 4 of a complete master guide. The page features screenshots and detailed descriptions of the game's highlights. It focuses on what makes Shinobi stand out, starting with its graphics, which are praised as realistic and detailed, particularly noting the excellent rendering of background colors. The action is highlighted next, mentioning that protagonist Joe Musashi can perform around 10 different moves using just 2 buttons, which keeps the gameplay dynamic. The enemy characters are also commended for their varied and engaging attack patterns. Finally, the music by the legendary Yuzo Koshiro is recognized as a crucial element that supports the game's enjoyment. With 19 tracks, the BGM perfectly captures the atmosphere of each stage, adding significant excitement to the experience. A brief story recap explains Joe Musashi's quest for revenge against Neozed after his fiancée Naoko is kidnapped, noting that the real fight is yet to come in America. This page continues the comprehensive guide to Sega's classic action title, Shinobi. It delves into the challenges of stages 7, 8, and 9, offering strategies and highlighting crucial actions for Joe Musashi's survival. Stage 7, set at a chaotic night airport, is described as a rain of bullets and fire. Players must use the double jump extensively to navigate obstacles like fences while fending off relentless enemies. Stage 8 takes the fight inside an airplane, where the unpredictable opening of doors is the main threat, requiring the strategic use of the Thunder Ninja magic for temporary invincibility. Stage 9 introduces a formidable biological computer boss with a single weak point, emphasizing patience and precision over brute force. The page also includes the first part of the Shinobi Principles lecture, focusing on essential actions. While Joe Musashi has powerful ninja magic, it's limited to one use per life, making core moves paramount. Highlighted actions include the close-range kick, the tactical jump and shuriken throw for airborne enemies, the indispensable double jump for traversal, and the powerful 8-directional shuriken technique, useful for clearing crowded areas or securing landings at the cost of shurikens. The guide stresses mastering these fundamental techniques is key to conquering the game. This page continues the guide for the Revenge of Shinobi, detailing later challenges Joe Musashi faces. Stage 10 is set in a grimy junkyard, described as a likely hidden research facility of Neozed. The focus here is on dealing with various enemies and navigating the environment, emphasizing the importance of watching the screen edges. Stage 11 shifts to a dangerous modern factory, filled with mechanical traps. The guide highlights the hazards of conveyor belts, pressing machines, fire-breathing burners, and pools of molten iron, stating that avoiding these environmental dangers is crucial and often more difficult than dealing with enemies. Navigating tricky conveyor belts by short hops is recommended. The focus then shifts to the Stage 12 boss, a powerful character resembling a Terminator. The reviewer notes his immense strength and raw physical attacks, such as throwing parts of cars and tackling. An interesting detail is that the boss changes color as his health is depleted. The attention section specifically calls out this boss as a tough, resilient opponent, implying he was the real trap of the stage. The guide suggests kicks are surprisingly effective against him, despite his size. This guide section for the Revenge of Shinobi focuses on stages 13 to 15 and early game enemies. Stage 13 challenges players with a vertical climb through an office building, urging careful navigation to avoid lasers and enemies. Stage 14 is a treacherous highway run, where players must dodge cars and navigate broken sidewalks. Stage 15 culminates in a boss fight against an armored truck with turrets and an electrical hazard. Strategic jumping is critical. The page also details early enemy types, including masked ninjas, samurai, flying enemies, female ninjas, martial artists, Zed commandos, and even the Stage 12 boss, Rocky. The guide emphasizes learning enemy attack patterns for survival. This guide section focuses on later stages of the Revenge of Shinobi. Stage 16, a vibrant Chinatown level, introduces diverse and visually striking female enemies. Stage 17 plunges players into a perilous metro tunnel, where dodging steel beams while battling foes on a speeding train is crucial. The guide emphasizes the challenge and the importance of precise movements. The section also highlights the significance of hidden items. Invisible boxes scattered throughout the stages contain valuable bonuses like extra ninja magic and one-ups. The guide encourages players to meticulously search for these hidden rewards, which are vital for survival in the challenging game, hinting that many more hidden items exist beyond those explicitly shown. This guide for the Revenge of Shinobi features 2 challenging stages. Stage 19, the Container Yard, demands precise jumps, including off-screen leaps and buoy navigation, with enemies awaiting landings. Players can use jump magic or the double jump technique with lightning magic, both risky options. Stage 20 has Joe Musashi infiltrating Fortress Island to commandeer a battleship. While the internal enemies are weak, the labyrinthine interior poses a navigational challenge. The guide also includes a ninja philosophy lecture, emphasizing avoiding foolish deaths, followed by a Yi special feature, showcasing comical game over scenarios resulting from carelessness. These sections highlight the need for skill, focus, and humility, contrasting with Musashi's otherwise proficient image. The next page continues the guide for the Revenge of Shinobi, delving into two more intense stages. Stage 21 introduces a massive, Godzilla-like dinosaur boss, a truly impressive sprite size for the time. The guide highlights its fire breath and devastating tail whip, which can quickly deplete your life bar. The key strategy involves precise timing to jump and hit its weak point around the neck area. It's a tough battle, requiring perfect execution to avoid its attacks and land the necessary hits. Following this, Stage 22 presents a final assault on the enemy fortress island. The environment is harsh, with stormy seas and searchlights adding to the challenge. This stage is packed with difficult enemies, including commandos and the formidable Byakko, White Phoenix. The guide emphasizes that getting through this stage without taking damage is extremely difficult, urging players to use all their ninja skills, including the powerful 8-handed shuriken technique, to push through the enemy's final defenses. The page also includes a Ninja Philosophy Lecture Part 5, focusing on the various enemies encountered in the later stages. It details enemy types like the female warrior Kasumi, the martial artist Koryu, different classes of commandos like the Blue Heads, masked enemies found both underwater and in maze areas, the tough Byakko, and winged foes in the mazes, providing brief descriptions of their abilities and difficulty. The next page delves into Stage 23 of the Revenge of Shinobi, a critical giant maze level designed for stocking up before the final confrontation. The guide emphasizes that while the maze itself isn't overly complex, the enemies here are significantly tougher. Success hinges on collecting as many items, power-ups, and precious 8-handed shuriken as possible, making the maze a treasure mountain. Players are urged to search thoroughly, manage resources carefully, and avoid taking unnecessary damage, even suggesting restarting the stage if things go poorly, especially on the difficult 6th floor, which is packed with enemies. The page reveals the boss awaiting at the end of this stage is the formidable masked ninja, setting the stage for the dramatic final battle and hinting that Nyoko's safety is at stake. This page features Assault Suits Lanos, known internationally as Target Earth, a new action shooting game arriving soon. The preview highlights the game's impressive graphics, which are described as being like watching an SF anime, with highly detailed mechs and environments that create a strong, realistic atmosphere. The reviewer is particularly excited about the game's structure, noting that its 8 stages are connected by a single story, with unique mission objectives for each stage, departing from the typical scrolling stage plus boss format. This mission-based approach is praised for adding an RPG-like depth and enjoyment, making it a potentially groundbreaking action title. Screenshots showcase the game's space environments, large enemy ships, and the title screen. This page delves further into the action shooting game Target Earth, focusing specifically on the events of the first stage, set at the resource mining base on Ganymede. It describes the sudden appearance of a mysterious heat source and the subsequent attack by enemy forces, including ground assault robots and air units. The primary objective for the player, controlling the assault suit team, is to intercept and destroy the enemy assault ship before it reaches the base. A notable aspect highlighted is the game's unique approach to failure. Reaching a game over is not solely dependent on the player character's destruction, but also on failing the specific mission objective, such as allowing the enemy ship to reach the base in this first stage. The game provides frequent in-game warnings and dialogue from the commander and operators as the mission progresses, particularly when the situation is critical. This adds depth and reinforces the strategic, mission-oriented structure mentioned previously. The page includes several screenshots showing the gameplay and the character portraits delivering urgent messages. The escape stage of Target Earth plunges the player into a desperate fight for survival. After the initial Ganymede base assault, Lanos must protect civilians and workers while battling relentless enemies to reach the escape shuttle. A support ship, the Barsat, is destroyed by a rival robot, the mobile armored soldier Zir-Ein. Lanos fights alone to ensure allies board the shuttle, with survival of civilians possibly impacting the score. The main goal is Lanos' successful boarding. The page highlights enemy types like dreadnoughts and heavy armored soldiers. Stage 2 introduces a wider array of weapon and item pickups, including shotguns, beams, grenades, missiles, armor recovery, and vernier packs, significantly enhancing combat options. This page covers Stage 3 of Target Earth, where the action shifts dramatically. After months in space, the squad is finally making their desperate return to Earth. entering the atmosphere for a counterattack against the invading forces. But it's a race against time, as an urgent warning comes in about enemy patrol ships, and their suits are about to face the scorching heat of atmospheric friction. The tension is high, as they fight to reach the shuttle before their assault suits are incinerated. A really cool feature highlighted here is the game's commitment to simulating space physics, particularly the law of inertia. Unlike Earth, in space, you'll keep moving in the same direction and speed unless you fire your thrusters, adding a unique strategic layer to combat and navigation in this stage. You'll face off against enemies like pesky missile satellites and larger patrol craft in this crucial fight to reclaim Earth. This page dives into Shadow Dancer, the Mega Drive follow-up to the legendary Shinobi series. It's a special action-packed ninja game, and the big star here is your loyal ninja dog companion. The story sees terrorists planting bombs across the city, and it's up to the young ninja and his faithful dog to recover them and take down the evil organization. The game structure is detailed as having 15 rounds spread across 4 missions. Gameplay relies on using 3 buttons effectively with the ninja dog. Basic movement, attacks, high jumps, and using ninjutsu are all covered. A key mechanic is commanding your dog to attack enemies or retrieve bombs using a simple lever input. The dog's cuteness is highlighted, but there's a humorous observation that the fire ninjutsu looks like you're setting your dog on fire, which the reviewer finds a bit cruel initially. Thankfully, the game is merciful. If the dog takes damage, it doesn't die, but turns into a puppy and recovers automatically after 20 seconds, or by picking up items or using ninjutsu. The ninjutsu itself is described as magnificent, filling the screen with impressive effects like lightning and energy waves, adding plenty of visual punch to the action. The page emphasizes coordinating with your canine partner to succeed. This page gives you a look at the early missions of Shadow Dancer. It labels this as the Mission 1 map, even though it covers more than just the first mission. It kicks off by detailing Mission 1, which takes you from the airport lobby in round 11 to the runway in round 12, culminating in a boss fight inside the airplane. The reviewer notes the basic side-scrolling gameplay evolves with vertical movement as you progress. The airport lobby features cool layered scrolling with aircraft visible outside the windows, apparently including some Sega planes. Watch out for enemies popping up from behind. The boss of Mission 1 is simply referred to as that guy, appearing inside the plane. Next is Mission 2, focused on disrupting the supply route. This mission progresses through a scrapyard, onto a freight train, and ends with the SL boss. Expect to encounter enemy ninjas here, and the train boss has a fiery attack, spitting out burning coal. Mission 3 challenges you to assault an underground organization. The reviewer points out the particularly annoying crocodile enemies you'll face here. Finally, Mission 4 is teased as being a secret, keeping some surprises in store. The page includes various screenshots showing the levels, enemies, and bosses you'll encounter on these early missions. This page features the 4th installment of the Let's Try with Chan and Don series, focusing on a special feature about board and card games playable under a kotatsu. The theme is keeping the New Year spirit going by playing games together. The spread is titled Rules of Games to Enjoy with Everyone and showcases a collection of physical games laid out on a table, perfect for gathering around. You can spot classic titles like the Dragon Quest board game and Pictionary, alongside various cards, tokens, dice, and even a slightly comical red inflatable club labeled Love Discipline Stick, suggesting a lighthearted approach to gameplay and possibly penalties. The article delves into the charm of analog board and card games, contrasting them with the digital world. The reviewer highlights the unpredictability and warmth that comes from playing with real people, noting that the outcome isn't always based purely on calculation, adding to the analog feel. They emphasize the importance of having enough players to maximize the fun, and even suggest creating your own house rules to enhance the experience. Adding simple stakes like prizes or penalties is also recommended to make games more heated and engaging. The reviewer recounts a personal history as a king of bluffing, whose confidence was eventually shattered, underscoring the human element in these games. Finally, the article offers recommendations for 3 types of games easy to pick up and play with anyone around you. The next page features the first 2 recommended board and card games for playing under the kotatsu. The first recommendation is for Pictionary, an drawing and guessing communication game where teams take turns having one player draw a word, place, person, action, object, difficult, while their teammates guess within a minute. Correct guesses let you roll the dice and move. The reviewer notes that while drawing skill might seem key, basic shapes are enough. Creativity and conveying the concept are more important. Partner compatibility is also highlighted as crucial. The second recommendation is the Dragon Quest card game, Martial Arts Arena. This game brings the feeling of the Dragon Quest Battle Arena to a card game. Players randomly select 4 monsters to participate and use fighting cards, like betting tickets, to support them. Players secretly choose which 2 of the 4 monsters they support. Then they play game cards to attack or heal the monsters. The game ends when 2 monsters are eliminated, and gold payouts are determined by the remaining monster's HP. The reviewer describes it as a straightforward but surprisingly deep gambling game. Both games are presented as easy to pick up and enjoy with friends. The next page features the third recommended game, Inagawa Junji's Great School Rules, Terrifying Rod of Love Discipline. This game is themed around the conflict over school rules. Players take turns acting as the teacher while others are students. The teacher presents a rule card, and students must play a card to counter it or have their cards confiscated. The goal is to collect the most student cards. The cards feature unique illustrations by Inagawa Junji himself, adding a distinct and entertaining element. A special rule involves the Rod of Love Discipline item, triggering excitement when drawn. The shopping advice section offers tips on buying games. It suggests that while simple-to-learn games are great for large groups and new players, games with shared themes can handle more complex rules. It advises checking the rules on the box for clarity. The previously featured Pictionary and the Dragon Quest card game are cited as examples fitting the criteria for easy-to-learn depth. Great School Rules is highlighted as a game with a theme likely to interest friends despite potentially complex rules, making it worth learning. The information section notes, this is the 4th installment of the Let's Try Chan's Dawn column. The author expresses gratitude for reader support, but mentions difficulty in choosing future themes and requests suggestions. It also reveals the answer to the Pictionary illustration from the previous page was transplant. This page features a fantastic reader present campaign, offering subscribers a chance to win various exciting items. Among the top prizes are copies of the action puzzle game Zoom, the classic RPG Sorcerian from Sega, and the challenging puzzle game, The Greatest Sokoban in History from NCS/Messiah, each available for a lucky few winners. Beyond the games, there are other great prizes too, including a UU Idol calendar from Taito and an Alice in Wonderland calendar from Aleph. Fans of Dragon Quest can vie for items like the Perfect Collection and item storybooks from Enix, while other literary prizes include paperback editions of Dragon Gear and Shirato, Reincarnation of the Night. There are also prizes related to gaming events and clubs from Nihon SoftBank. Readers can apply for these gifts by sending in a postcard with their details and preferred prize number, with the deadline set for February 8, 1990. This page features the second episode of the parody manga Legend of the End-of-Century Bootleg Hero Megadoraemon 9. The title character, a bootleg hero resembling Ultraman, takes on the Kimono Demon in an episode subtitled Deadly Move, I'll Kill This Kimono Demon. The story unfolds on a Keihin Kyuko train, with characters discussing the increasing number of victims attacked by the demon. Sega's higher UPS are mentioned as wanting the issue resolved since the line is near their operations. The plan is hatched to use Nimai, the bio-life form from Phantasy Star II, as bait for the demon. The manga includes humorous elements, like a running gag about Nimai potentially not wearing underwear, and a comical scene involving a demanding elderly passenger who is revealed to be the true form of the Kimono Demon Ape, a parody of a Phantasy Star II enemy. This page continues the parody manga Megadoraemon 9. The hero, Megadoraemon 9, arrives to battle the Hungry Ape, a monster clearly based on the enemy from Phantasy Star II. It's revealed that the Hungry Ape regains energy by scratching its head. Megadoraemon Nix unleashes a special attack called Megadora Bunshin Takashimata, a humorous reference to a traditional Japanese bridal hairstyle. The attack defeats the monster, but Megadoraemon Nix immediately reverts to his human form, the grumpy old man introduced on the previous page. The crowd, seeing the transformation, labels him a pervert. The scene has apparently moved outside the train. The story is set to continue in the next issue. This page provides general information and reader engagement features. The information section reflects on the evolution of the game market since the 1980s, noting the emergence of the 90s and the growing influence of the Mega Drive, questioning how far it will expand and how long the RPG-dominated software market will continue. It states the magazine will monitor trends centered around the Mega Drive. It also announces that the next issue, a special expanded edition commemorating the release of Sorcerian, will be released on February 8th. There is a question telephone section providing a phone number for inquiries about the magazine's content, but explicitly stating they cannot provide game hints. It also features a recruitment notice seeking individuals capable of writing manuscripts and assisting with editorial tasks, outlining qualifications and application procedures. The page includes a list of staff members involved in the magazine's production. Finally, there is a section on how to fill out a questionnaire postcard, detailing various questions for readers. These include demographics like gender and age, occupation/student status, gaming frequency, preferred game magazines, how they learned about this magazine, whether they have read other BeepMD magazines, hopes for the magazine's future, like becoming monthly or lowering the price, desired software releases, a favorite transferred video game, and their best or worst Mega Drive software. This page features a promotional spread from Technosoft, highlighting two of their key titles for the Sega Mega Drive. The main visual is a striking image of a woman in a kimono holding a rifle, alongside the slogan, "The target is Technosoft again this year." The page showcases Thunder Force 2, described as the first release. It highlights its multi-directional and side-scrolling stages, noting its impressive graphics, immersive sound, and voice features. It's presented as a diverse shooting game with a total of 9 stages, priced at 6,800 yen, excluding tax. Next, the page features Herzog Zwei, presented as the second release and newly available. It's introduced as a new genre that blends simulation, action, and shooting elements. It features a 2-player split screen, simultaneous full directional scrolling, and powerful sound, positioning it as a hot topic release, also priced at 6,800 yen, excluding tax. There's also information about a campaign where the first 2,000 customers who send in the application ticket from Herzog Zwei will receive a Technosoft 90 Gals Club calendar, along with other original goods and Gals Telecard giveaways. The page encourages readers to visit stores now. Finally, the page includes information about Technosoft itself, listing their address and phone number, and shows small portraits of 3 women associated with the company. A small note clarifies that Mega Drive cartridges are game software specifically for the Mega Drive and licensed by Sega. This page showcases the delightful puzzle game Zoom, starring the cheerful character Smartkun. The game challenges players to navigate maze-like grids set up by the evil puzzler army across space, painting over every square to save Earth. The screenshot gives a glimpse of the grid-based gameplay, where Smartkun must avoid strange phantoms getting in his way. Beyond the main feature, the page highlights a strong lineup of upcoming Mega Drive titles, including the RPG Sorcerian, the action game Patlabor based on the anime series, the sports title Super Real Basketball, and the well-known Ghostbusters. The page also features the core of the system, the powerful 16-bit Mega Drive console, presenting it as the machine delivering all this excitement and listing its standard price.